Hi guys, I just stumbled on this YouTube channel, the Mark Thompson Show, and he just did a video that has 500,000 views. Did Elon Musk hack the election using his Starlink satellites? And I have to say, you guys, I mean, I'm probably like halfway through the video and it is making me feel very, very nervous. Um, I touched upon the key aspect of this video before, where he mentions the Joe Rogan quote, where Joe Rogan, that podcaster, said that Elon Musk had the results of the elections of, each state by state in the swing states 4 hours before everybody else because Elon has an app that he used using, I guess, the technology from his Starlink or wherever he gets the technology. Hang on a second.
Is odd. It is odd, you'll concede, that Elon Musk would have an app that gains early access to data related to voters.
Yeah, so the Starlink or wherever he gets the technology to tell him in advance of everybody else about the results of the election. To me, if Elon were, say, Kamala's friend and not Donald's friend, right? So he was a Democrat. He was on the side of the Democrats and not on the side of the Republicans. And somebody said that he knew 4 hours before that Kamala had won, and I'm on the Trump team. I'm crying foul. I'm crying foul really, really loudly and really, really aggressively because that would be to me a red flag. Like, what do you mean he knew 4 hours before? We need to investigate that. But I sort of just let it go until I ran into this YouTube channel.
Where practically every statewide Democrat in North Carolina won overwhelmingly, and somehow Donald Trump manages to win. It doesn't make any sense. So just hear me out. Sorry, I'm losing my voice today. But we see Josh Stein, the Democrat, won for governor's race over Mark Robinson by about 800,000 votes. We see in the lieutenant governor's race, you see that a lady, Rachel Hunt, defeated Hal Bethman by 150,000 votes. We see that for Attorney General, we see that Jeff Jackson defeated Dan Bishop. Same thing, another 125,000 votes. We see for the Superintendent of Education, Maurice Green defeated Michelle Morin. Same thing, 2,810,000, 2,668. For the Secretary of State, we see another lady winning statewide, Elaine Marshall, over Chad Brown, and she wins by 120,000 votes. And then we see that Donald Trump somehow manages to win by 189,406 votes. Every other Democrat won statewide. And then this other interesting fact that doesn't make any sense, 356,884 votes were cast for president only, and they voted for not any other single office in North Carolina. Not for governor, lieutenant governor, Democrat, Republican, independent, nobody. What's up with this? This does not make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. What do you think? Does it make sense to you? Elon Musk, were you there? What do you all think? Something doesn't look right. And this trend is throughout all the battleground states. Democrats win statewide, and somehow Kamala Harris loses. Doesn't make sense. And many of them are women winning in these states.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not making any pronouncements about, Elon Musk and whether I think he used Starlink to hack the elections. I'm only reporting on this YouTube video about that to say that, it is very curious how he was able to know that ahead of time. And what this guy just got through saying about, the irregularities in the patterns of voting is something that if this were Trump, if this if this had if this were no if, I should say if this were Kamala and she had won, and Trump had lost and these facts existed, I think we would see an actual civil war in America because Trump's supporters would never stand for it. I mean, they would demand an investigation, and Trump would demand an investigation. I mean, and to be fair, I think that he would have deserved an explanation about this because it doesn't really make sense. I mean, the math, it doesn't appear, if what this man just got through saying is true, and I don't know that it is, but if it is true, it doesn't sound like the math is mathing. I think something similar happened in AOC, Alexandra Cortez, in New York, where they voted for her and then they voted for Trump, and she wanted to understand what was going on with that as well. And look, it's possible, as this guy said, to split a vote where you vote for your Democrat for, Congress, but then you vote for a Republican for president or vice versa. I mean, this is completely possible and it happens, but I think when you take a totality of circumstances, right, the level of the discrepancy in, say, the patterns of voting, then you have this tech billionaire who um, has an app that nobody else has that allowed him to know 4 hours before, right? Then you have the fact that he was willing to win at any cost. We saw the sweepstakes he did where he offered $1 million to people to vote, first of all, and to profess, their support for the First and Second Amendment and so on and so forth. He almost got into a lot of trouble with that. He was even sued by the Attorney General in Pennsylvania, I think in Philadelphia, and he won. The judge basically ruled in his favor to say that it was not an illegal lottery or whatever. But people raised questions about it and red flags were raised about it. So we saw that he was willing to win at any cost. And also, as I'm, getting back into this political thing slowly again, to my great hesitancy, apparently Musk is being investigated by different agencies in the country, relating to various of his businesses, whether these investigations are fair or whether they are trumped up and, just a way to harass him because sorry about that, because he's a rich guy and people don't, he's a mysterious guy. I mean, let's face it. I mean, he's unusually intelligent. He's prolifically creative. He's just incredibly powerful around the world. People are going to take notice of him. He has very strong opinions. He bought Twitter. He controls speech in the world. I mean, he's now, he has hundreds of government contracts, whether from SpaceX to with Tesla. I mean, he's a very, 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 very powerful man. I mean, I would hazard that he's more powerful than even the president because presidents only last 4 years, if they're lucky, 8, right? But and he's young, he's in his 50s, he's brilliant, and he's a maverick, he's a rogue, and he has some very extremist views, frankly speaking. So that's going to get him in the crossfire, I think. And so he's under all this investigation. So it's in his interest to get all this to stop.